So, as promised, we're still on the subject of engaging the body, the mind, and the spirit to achieve or accomplish the life that we desire. But before we get into that phase, I would like for us to touch base on a very crucial, fundamental stage that will basically determine whether or not you'll be able to get those three things and align yourself, right? This is a very important thing that I'm sure most people will find useful, if not all. So, the power of isolation or solitude, as I like to put it sometimes, is important. It's monumental, and really without it there's no telling whether or not we'll be able to make it. We cannot get to other stages or other dimensions of our lives without this stage. It's crucial and it must be gone through. Being around people is important, don't get me wrong, but being away from people is just as important, right? This is a time where you have to pretty much reflect, gather yourself, introspect, and get to a place where you have pretty much aligned with yourself. Because with self-alignment, you'll be able to know what it is that you want from life. So the power of isolation is a lot of things to me, right? The power of isolation to me is being away from people and keeping some things to yourself, right? Especially if they're not meant to be done at that time, right? So what the power or what isolation does rather is that it disengages you from the world, and in that time you're able to engage with God, right? And it's very important that you put God at the center of everything that you do, because without God you will wind up a mess. You will wind up not knowing what it is that you're supposed to do. So that's what I used the time of isolation for. I spent a lot of time with God, and I allowed Him to speak through me on things that I wouldn't have otherwise known about myself. And look, had I known then what I know now, probably, most certainly my life would have been, 10 times ahead. You know what I mean? And it's important that you take this time very crucial and serious, because life is not always what it seems to be or what meets the eye. We all know that by now. But the most important thing is to not feel pressured or conform to whatever the world is serving us, whatever the socials are, selling to us. You know what I mean? The most important thing is to always find time for yourself to recuperate, to, refresh. That's important. And always, always, always put God at the center of everything that you do, and you will continuously see your life beginning to progress.